Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Pokemon, the podcast where we talk about everything and anything Pokemon, except maybe this episode. I know it's been a while. I feel like I say that every other episode at this point. It's the season to reflect, people. We gone over the holidays. Happy holidays. Happy belated Christmas. Merry belated Christmas. Hopefully you got all the cool gifts that you wanted. Hopefully you got all the Pokemon cards, the good pulls and all that jazz. Hopefully you're having a nice time celebrating the New Year's as we're getting into now 2022. And, the last couple weeks, I could just go on about like what happened. Why didn't I upload an episode like last time, but right before Christmas like I wanted to? I mean, to kind of put a long story short, there's been everyone in my household kind of took turns getting a severe cold. Plus, I got my booster, which kind of knocked me out for a few days, and it's just been like a mess. And this was supposed to be my Christmas break from work, and yet I couldn't really relax the way that I wanted to. I did get to play a lot of games. I got to finish a lot of like mini puzzles and Legos and stuff I had like lying in my room for God knows how long. But, I didn't really get to enjoy it going out as much as I wanted to. It was rough. And I didn't have the energy to record episodes, and I didn't want to like push out an episode just for the sake of pushing it out. And I've said that before, like I don't feel like doing that because I think, and if I'm honestly speaking, I'm pretty sure I have done that already once or twice this year with this podcast where I felt like because it's been so long, I needed to push out an episode. So before I go even further, let me just say that I'm not covering any Pokemon news, really. I mean, there's been a lot going on in Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Masters, Pokemon Go, with the Season of Heritage. Pokemon Unite's got that holiday event going with the snowball fight, basically, where last time for Halloween, right, we get to turn people into pumpkins. This time around, we got to turn people into snowman. So the new Battle Pass has also started, too. There's also, what else is there to talk about? Diamond and Pearl, obviously, with updates and stuff like that. It's none of that stuff I really want to get into because this is the last episode of 2021. I didn't say last episode of the podcast. I'm still going to do this episode, but that's kind of what I want to talk about is that podcasting is hard. I don't know if people really, truly realize that. And I don't think I really realized that too. Until like the last couple months where I did at some point think, okay, right, I just gotta record, talk, and that's what some people do sometimes when they ask their friends like, hey, how do I get into podcasting? Like, just go ahead and hit the record button and start talking. And it is that simple of an action, but to do it consistently and to make it more than just like a hobby, but to make it something where, you want to build a community where you want reliability, you want some sort of, I guess, a reputation, but, you're trying to be part of something larger. That takes work. That takes time, some dedication. And I don't want to say that I don't have that dedication. It's just I have a doctorate I'm pursuing. I have my teaching job, which, for teachers out there, you understand how much time that takes. I have, my family at home. There's just a lot going on. And I thought that, all I got to do is record one episode a week. And it's easy. In my head, I said it was easy because there's always something Pokemon to talk about. There's always something that's reported, especially this year being the 25th anniversary. There was always merchandise dropping on Pokemon Center. There was always an event going on in Pokemon Masters or in Pokemon Go. There was music dropping. Like, there was always something to bring up. But it's just, for the family folk out there, the dads out there, the moms out there, you try to put your kid to bed. Sometimes you just end up falling asleep with them. You're just tired after a long day of maybe going to a theme park or just going to the park and playing with them. Or, there's other things that you need to have prioritized. So again, teachers out there, what it's like where you have to spend up late hours working on lesson plans or, grading or whatever that case may be. And for those pursuing a college degree or higher, that it takes a dedication to stay up several hours to write a paper, making sure you have all the right sources, making sure that everything's grammatically correct. Podcasting is hard. It really is. And there are people out there who do make it as like a full-time job, but that's like kind of almost a fine difference, right? Of someone who maybe works at an entry-level job, not downplaying an entry-level job, right? People automatically go to, working at McDonald's. Like, even still, if you're working at McDonald's, you're a cash register, even like at the grocery store, you're just a cash register person. And then once you get off of work, you say, I want to be a Twitch streamer, I want to be a YouTuber. You start to realize that the more you do it, you have to spend more time, because it then becomes a job. It then becomes something more than just a hobby, because one, maybe you start to realize that this is your thing. Like, this is something that you want to pursue, that this is giving you more happiness than anything else. Or two, that you start to kind of contribute to a much larger community, and you're now part of it, and you're seen as like this consistency that people go to, and it starts to consume you a little bit. But and that sounds like it's in a negative sense, but it's really not. It's just it's so much like a desire to do that, but then you realize, I have my responsibilities I have now. So for people out there that dedicate their time to that, and they grow, they have that opportunity. But then there are some of us, like me and some other influencers out there that our main job, whether we chose it or not, or whether it is our quote unquote dream job or not, it does take more time and precedence, priority than anything else. And so when we want to do consistency, contributing to videos or episodes, it eventually does give in. And there are some people that can do it, and there are some people that can't. Unfortunately for me, I fell into the category of I couldn't. And again, I know the one or two episodes that I just kind of forced an episode just to do it, I didn't like it, because no influencer out there, whether it's a YouTuber, TikToker, or whatever, for those that are really dedicated to that job, they'll tell you, like, they don't want to just force a video or a episode just for the sake of it. Like, they want to do something meaningful with it, or something that they want to do. Otherwise, then it just becomes not boring, but like it just doesn't feel right. And that's where I didn't want to be in that position where I just force something out and not feel good about it. So that's why I went so many gaps without publishing an episode. I was either sick or I had other priorities, and it just sucked. It really did. I went into this year 2021 thinking I can do this. It's going to be great. I have this other podcast I'm doing with my friends, so I kind of know a little bit ins and outs of at least editing wise and what to do for uploading. Like, this would be great. But as you can tell, only 40 episodes out of the possible 52. Now, to be fair though, I probably 43, 44, if you count some of my bonus episodes. But still, it's not the 52 episodes in a year that I could have done if I had just kind of forced myself to do so. So I guess going into 2022, my New Year's resolution is at least pump out another 5 more episodes in addition to that. So hopefully I'll reach 45 episodes for 2022. And I think that's my goal in getting into this sort of biz, I get, to use the nickname for it, is that I just want to kind of slowly progress into it. And and start kind of learning more editing tricks, maybe here and there, and get eventually a little bit better, but at my own pace. I think, I keep seeing the numbers on my episodes, and I am astounded by how many plays a lot of my episodes get. And, let me just first thank you guys so much for taking the time just to hear me, just to listen to me. And I think that's kind of part of what I wanted to do, was just be that average person voicing out their opinion. So in the case that another average person shares the same opinion, they don't feel alone about it. That's how I felt a lot of the times with my own opinions, especially with, topics like Marvel or Star Wars and whatnot. I kind of feel like sometimes I'm the only one of a particular opinion. And, that's how I found some of these podcasts I listen to now, where it's like, oh, they have the same thought as I do. They share the same mentality as I do. This is great. And it's almost like talking to the podcast, along with it, like as if you're there. And that's all I want to do, because I think I said it at the very beginning of the year, starting with episode 1, maybe episode 2, was that these podcasts, especially in the Pokemon community, just feel like we're all talking to each other, right? So I'm about to name drop some of the podcasts I listen to, but if you take like the Metapod, it kind of feels like when they focus on, obviously they're just TCG, some of the stuff that's super effective talks about, and it kind of either aligns or they kind of counter each other. And sometimes they'll bring each other up too, and I'm like, oh yeah, they said this. But then that also, ties in with Pokemon Go Cast. When they talk, they're strictly a Pokemon Go podcast. And so it's funny to hear obviously the host on It's Super Effective talk about Pokemon Go when they have vastly different opinions. And it's just like almost like I don't want to call it a fraternity, but excuse me as I'm trying to drink too, so my throat doesn't dry out. But it's almost like a business meeting in a sense. And I think it's just really cool. You use these podcasts to listen to other people's thoughts and opinions and to share with them and to maybe also gain new insight. There are things about Pokemon that I've learned through the podcasts I listen to, and I go, oh, I never thought of it that way. Or, oh, that's interesting take. And it's sometimes it made me like something more, or in some cases it also made me like something less. But regardless, it's just learning. And I think the more people voice their opinions, the more people become active in this sort of conversation, I think the better and more connected the community feels. And I really think that's the route any Pokemon influencer should go. There's obviously been a lot of negativity, especially when it comes to scalpers in the TCG, or what's the most recent thing that's happened right now with the shiny hunting becoming illegitimate and hacking, and there's obviously that dark side of this community. There's always a dark side to a community, but it seems like in the last several months that side has grown bigger and louder than the positive. And it really, what we really need to do is, again, start kind of focusing on, what is it that we do have? What is it that we can be grateful for? Like, I've said this before, I think when we're expecting news about, was it the Isle of Armor, or maybe it was about the Sinnoh remakes, maybe the Pokemon Directs, where I felt like a lot of our speculation started becoming more of like entitlements. And that's an issue where it's fine for you to have your imagination, obviously. Like, there's no one that can control that or dictate that for you. And it's okay to want things, obviously. But when it becomes a less of, this is what I want, and more of a, this is what I have to have, that becomes an issue. And eventually it starts to grow into this sort of like online riot. And social media is already bad with people just spouting out negative comments just for the sake of spouting them out. So to quote unquote start a online riot, it makes things worse. And I don't know, there's obviously nothing anyone can do to force someone to stop thinking a particular way. And there's sort of like a wrong part to that. Like, it's not our job to convince someone like this is the right way, this is the wrong way. But I think when it starts becoming harmful, whether it's verbally or physically, but in this case more verbally, I think that's where that line needs to be looked at again and be like, whoa, okay, we definitely gone too far. So I don't know. I kind of went on a mini rant here, but I forgot even where I was trying to go with this, to be honest with you. As if you can't tell already, I'm really just kind of talking off the top of my head. There's no agenda. There's no outline. I just wanted to record an episode and just kind of talk to you guys about these things, about how I've been feeling, about how I kind of look at podcasting, and how I guess to kind of share some same sentiments for people out there who started, I guess, considering getting into social media, whether it be Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or podcasts, because I started YouTube for a little bit and I was doing okay, but then I stopped making videos because I just didn't have the time. I just didn't feel like I was in that right mood to record. And so that's when I took a break. And then I was like, oh, well, let me try podcasting, because I was already doing a podcast with a couple friends. And then I started doing that this year. And so I've seen good and bad of these things. I'm not trying to say that I've seen the worst or I've seen the best, but I've seen enough to get a better idea of what all this entails. Hence why I kind of started talking about the negativity and what kind of maybe we should consider going towards. But I think it's just nice to just talk. That's one of the best things about having a podcast, is that you just get to talk. And one of the better things about doing it with other people is that you kind of bounce conversations off, and it engages you in that conversation, because your episode's only focused on this, and you get to remove all distractions. I think that's also kind of what I'm missing here too on my own podcast, is a second or third person to kind of bounce ideas off of. When I record episodes about the regions with my buddy Austin, it's great because I can kind of receive that feedback and process it and kind of comment, and we go back and forth, which is awesome. But I don't, to schedule that time is difficult, but that's neither here or there. Regardless, it's the new year, or will be the new year, and I do have higher expectations for myself. I do have a little bit higher ambitions, and I hope to achieve those. Like I said, 40 episodes this year. I want to try to aim for 45 next year, and who knows where I'll go from there. The numbers, I think I was trying to say this earlier, the numbers I see already from my episodes is way higher than I expected. I mean, I was literally expecting maybe 5-10 people tops per episode, but I am getting way more than that, and it makes me excited. It kind of makes me motivated. And even if this episode doesn't get low numbers, I'm gonna look back on the other ones and go, okay, this is what I did, this is what I talked about, so I'm not doing a terrible job. I do know I need more structure. I do know I need better transitions. But it's still, I'm clinging on to the positive side of that. I'm nowhere near numbers, I know, for other podcasts that are out there, but I like where I arrived. I like where I ended right now for 2021, and it feels good. And yeah, I'm looking into 2022 with a much brighter outlook on this podcast than I had, I think, initially done before, especially early on in the year. Which, super random segue here. Happy belated birthday to Jay. We're going to call him Jay. I got an email from someone that listens to the podcast, and I truly appreciate Jay. Hopefully you had a great birthday. Sorry, man, I couldn't push out an episode for you. And like the next couple of days after your birthday, like I said, I was going to try to do. But regardless, hopefully you enjoyed your birthday. Hopefully you enjoyed the holidays. Appreciate it. Guys, for real, if you guys ever want to reach out to me on social media, I am on Twitter and Instagram at SpartanStrike07. Going into 2022, I'm hoping to up that. Hoping to post more. I was trying to post a day starting 2021. I don't remember how far I got, but I'm hoping to kind of supersede or surpass that and going into 2022. So I'm going to try to be harder on myself about that. But if you also want to follow me on YouTube and just listen to the podcast that way, Spartan Strike 07 is also my channel name, so you can follow me there. Regardless, at the end of the day, guys, just thank you so much. Thank you for all the time you've spent listening to me and just kind of being there and sharing some same thoughts, or maybe even trying to disagree with me, which is great. Hey, man, I'm all for open discussion. If you thought Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, well, great. Hey, sure, go ahead. You can prove your case to me. I may still disagree, but I like hearing other people's opinions and thoughts on things. So, yeah, just thank you so much. I was hoping to keep this much shorter than what I have here now, but that's okay. I'm still going to do what I always do at the end of every episode, and that is, of course, the Pokedex Trivia, where I read to you an entry from a Pokedex, from a game that I will not reveal what game it is, but I will try to give you hints about the Pokemon along the way. So yes, the last one for 2021, and I do got to go back and backlog a lot of these Pokemon, so I know I'm not, reusing any of these, but I'm pretty sure I haven't done this one yet. So here we go. Your Pokedex Trivia is: it carries food all day long. There are tales about lost people who were saved by the food it had. So this Pokemon is a dual type. It has the hidden ability Insomnia. It is a Pokemon that is heavily used around the holidays. That might give it away. But it's also a Pokemon that had its own minigame in Pokemon Stadium 2. And it was a great minigame. All right, I think that's enough hints. So here we go. Lock in your guess. I'm going to read the Pokedex entry one more time. It carries food all day long. There are tales about lost people who were saved by the food it had. All right, without further ado, the answer is none other than number 225, Delibird. That's right, Delibird is the Pokemon of this episode. And I'm going to be really stupid here for 5 seconds, because I was this years old when I realized that Delibird's bag is its tail. I don't think I ever cared about Delibird enough to look into that. But then something crossed my mind the other day when I was catching it in Pokemon Go. And I was like, wait, what does it do with that bag? It's always carrying the bag the same way. And I go, does it have a tail? What it like? And I was thinking I think it's Snicket, whose tail looks like kind of like a mop, like behind him. And I was like, is that bag his tail? Does he stuff things in his tail? And lo and behold, it's his tail. if you just found it out now, don't worry. You're not the only one, I'm sure. But man, Pokemon has got some really bizarre designs. There are so many questions to that. But you know what? That's neither here or there. Let's read some of the trivia that Delibird has. There's 4 bullet points here. Delibird is one of the few Pokemon who can learn TM moves when it learns fewer than 4 moves by leveling up. The Pokemon Ultimate Handbook incorrectly states that Delibird is a legendary Pokemon. It might as well be. Delibird has Insomnia as its healing ability, although it already has access to Vital Spirit, another ability with exactly the same in-battle effect. Interesting. Starting in Pokemon Emerald, both of Delibird's regular abilities have the same field effect, which is also shared by Pressure. All right, so mostly dealing with moves, abilities, but nothing out of the ordinary, which I would expect something more, though. I don't know. Like, Delibird, like, the overall design is cool. And I see why, obviously, it gets used a lot during holidays, Christmas gifts, stashing his tail. But, man, what a day to be alive to learn that Delibird's bag is actually its tail. There you go. Cool Pokemon, though. Like I said, A+ in my book. All right, so I just wanted to keep that short and just kind of reflect and talk about some random stuff, guys. It's not, it wasn't just to kind of force one out. I am cutting it shorter, though, I think, than what I originally wanted to, because I'm still kind of recovering from whatever sickness I had. And so if you haven't been able to hear, my voice has been drying out really fast. And I don't want to force it or strain it any more than I have to. But guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I am looking to get better and already looking to see how I can structure or how I want to go about things. I don't want to do like an all news. We have plenty of podcasts to do all news. I think I just want to pick a Pokemon topic and just go off on it. Like, just talk about it, positives and negatives, whatever the case may be, whether it's a new event to Pokemon Go, or if it's a Pokemon Direct, or whatever the case may be. I think I'm just going to pick one topic, and then we're going to stick to that topic for that episode. Make the episode short and sweet, but, it's quality over quantity, some would say. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Be safe out there. Hopefully, you guys are celebrating with friends and family and just having the time of your life. I'll see you all in 2022. Until next time, where we can talk about everything and anything Pokemon.